The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
And the stock of the day is Cochlear. The hearing aid manufacturer has booked underlying net profit for FY24 of $357 million. That's up 27%. Sales up 15% to $2.3 billion. Has delivered a dividend of $4.10 a share for the financial year, which is up some 24%. It's guiding growth of between 6 and 11% for FY25, which would take its underlying profit to between $410 and $430 million. The company's saying it's continuing to target sales growth of around 10%, with a net profit margin of about 18%. So in terms of the reaction to its results, well, it's been fairly savage, I've got to say. In fact, there we go. Currently off at 7% in this morning's trade. So, Mark, what are your thoughts? So it is maybe falling short of market expectations there on its profit growth, and just in terms of its guidance, maybe it's a little off as well.
Yeah, I think it missed by a couple of percent really, so it wasn't a horrible result. But if you look at the chart, it was towards the top of the range there. The analysts had sort of fair value below where it was trading leading into the number, and obviously I think it missed slightly on the outlook as well. So not a horrible result, but probably it is one that tends to sort of it has surprised the analysts to the upside a couple of times previously, so maybe there was a little bit of buying leading into it, but it was more similar to CSL. It was towards that top of the range. It probably needed a good result to push on higher through those levels. You can see there. Look, I mean, it's been pretty sideways for most of this year, so it needed to probably beat on outlook to push through those highs. So. Yeah, a little bit savage, I would say overall, but I mean, here we are, just sort of sitting at pretty key levels for the calendar year. Be interesting to see what the broker upgrades the broker moves are tomorrow, and but it wasn't a horrible result. I think it was just more market valuation, and it'll still be probably a long-term hold, but. For new money, I'd just be waiting at least until tomorrow or the next day for the analysts updates, and because if it breaks through to the downside there now, I mean you'll probably get it slightly cheaper. Momentum seems to stick, and when we saw it on the flip side, JB Hi-Fi, once it had that really positive result, and Pro Medicus again today, once it's got momentum, it tends to stick for a couple of days.
So it's at, what, 312 now. What sort of level would you be interested in picking it up for?
I would not necessarily be probably around the 300, but I would be more cautious on momentum. If it probably needs to stabilise before you even really consider looking at it. It's not the kind of company that tends to give a huge amount of updates, so there's not going to be a lot of catalysts until next earnings or potentially a quarterly update. So. I would say you've got a lot of wiggle room to be patient on this one, and probably wait till the technicals stabilise because I was very surprised at the momentum of a couple of stocks, that have reported where it just keeps going. So you probably want to use the chart a little bit more on that rather than just sort of buy into weakness.
Okay, so a longer term hold from you, Henry, then. What are your thoughts on Cochlear?
Yes, I mean, the result was disappointing, I have to say. Margins, considering the amount of technology these guys have got, and when you look at something like ResMed, which has got margins multiples above Cochlear, you can kind of get a bit of nervousness around Cochlear, I have to say. It's a fantastic company doing fantastic things. 47,000 people had the Cochlear implant, so it is fantastic in that respect. They're targeting 50,000, but as far as the share price goes, it's been trading in a channel. It's broken down on the back of these results. It was up around 13% for the year prior. Now it's kind of who cares, about 5 or 6%. I think there's probably more downside to come in this one when the brokers start talking it. There was a $75 million buyback, which obviously gives it some kind of underpinning and some support, and it is a great Australian success story, so it is almost un-Australian to put a sell on it. So I won't. I'll say it's a hold. But if you're coming to this as a new investor, I think there's probably better opportunities elsewhere. I think this could easily see $290 in the next couple of weeks as the market sorts itself out. But yeah, I don't think there's a rush to buy this one at the moment, to be honest.
All right, be patient. It is a double hold there for our stock of the day, Cochlear.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.